Wight County School Board's in session. Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins, Mr. Wooster, Mr. Colick,
Here.
Mr. Cunningham,
Here.
and Mr. Marsh.
Here.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for the closed session as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
and Mr. Marsh.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for the open session as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
and Mr. Marsh.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I move that the committee go into closed session. Oh. Thank you. I move to go into closed session to review the personnel report and addendum posted on board docs on the personnel tab number 16.1 as authorized by Virginia Code 2.23711A1 for the purpose of discussion and consideration of prospective candidates of Isle of Wight Public Schools for employment, contract changes, transfers, salary adjustments, supplemental contracts, deletions, supplemental pay, resignations of Isle of Wight County Public Schools employees, and to discuss a matter involving two exchange students that would involve disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning students as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-3711A2, and to discuss and consider
Sorry, 5. I'm so
excuse
sorry.
me, 5 early admission for a student as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-3711A2 involving the disclosure of information concerning identifiable students of Isle of Wight County Schools.
Second.
That was a mouthful.
Yes.
Yep.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
and Mr. Marsh.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak in closed session?
No, sir.
Okay. Gentlemen, I think we're good to go. Go into closed session.
Yep.
So it'll show two there. That's actually you and you, right?
Okay.
We're signing both.
Look at those pictures. How you doing there? In here. It was really hot in here when we got in here first.
How much was it?
I just have to figure out how I get to see you.
And I
I have to,
don't know what the dates are.
Yeah.
Just give me the dates.
usually it's the second Thursday of every month. This month was different.
Just put it on my calendar.
But I
Send it
just,
to my
I'm
calendar.
like, I really want
So I'm here.
it's
It
my-
just doesn't make sense. I forgot about that. Normally you
He's
would
in
have it
there.
on in
Yeah.
the evening.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
to be.
Well. It was.
Yeah, it had been.
One of the things that stopped. So-
Yeah, but you wouldn't have it on just in the evening.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And see, this is
Yeah.
not, this is not
Hi.
a board meeting day.
Oh, okay.
We change it. It's normally the second
Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She's gonna put me on the next. She's gonna CC me on the next.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Want to make sure we're all good. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? Yes. You guys can hear me now, right? Can you? Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Now we got to go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Maybe where's the golf cart? There it is. Only pay for what you need. Liberty, liberty, liberty.
So can you guys hear me now? Okay. Yeah, I checked on my end through Zoom. I did if you guys can hear me. I did check through Zoom. Did the speaker did a microphone check on my side, and Zoom is detecting speaker for me. If you guys can hear me, it's coming through to you. I think any audio should be on your side. So, yeah. So just if you need me to say anything else, okay, that's good.
Wight County School Board's in session.
Mr. Chair, I move that the closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act as required by Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia, and certify that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements were discussed, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
and Mr. Marsh.
Yes, motion passes. Mr. Colick?
Would everybody please stand for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. It's August 7th, 2025. We're in Westside Elementary School for our regular school board meeting. For those that are dialed in, you'll see we're missing two. Mr. Wooster was a bit under the weather, and Mrs. Perkins had some personal matters to attend to, so it's just three this evening. And on that, we'll roll right into it. Madam Clerk.
We don't have anyone to speak.
Okay, no one signed up to speak. Dr. Kramer, do we want to shuffle around a bit for our video presentation?
I would suggest that, Mr. Chair, yes.
Okay, sir. So Cole, we'll hold on your comments, and we've got someone dialed in right now.
So, Mrs. Jessica Whitlow, would you share with us? So it's 14.4. I suggest, Mr. Chair, given that we will have that group who is presenting, since they're presenting virtually, I'd suggest we move that up and have that presentation at this moment.
It's all right by us, Dr. Kramer, unless we need to do a motion to amend. I think
Okay, sounds good.
I think we're good, right?
All right. With that, Mr. Robbins?
Dr. Coleman.
And Dr. Coleman is going to come up and introduce our representatives from Tischler Bice.
Mr. Chair, Dr. Kramer, I want to introduce three individuals from Tischler Bice. They'll be joining us tonight to give a full analysis of the subdivision yields and the future school needs study that Isle of Wight undertook maybe 2 months ago. This is going to be Mr. Michael Gill-Luley and Miss Julie Hertlands. All right, and when we start off, they're going to start off by going through the PowerPoint and just presenting information to you and their findings. The findings were completed on the 31st of this month, or last month, and now at this time, the findings will be presented. We do want to let you know that this is a preliminary draft of the findings, and we will say that throughout the entire presentation. Feel free to ask any questions. Stop. We're going to be going through the slides a little bit more swifter. We know that the board or the public have not had an opportunity to review this yet, so we're just going to do an overview of the presentation, but please ask questions. We will be taking notes and ensuring that we get those answers back to you. All right, Mr. Gill-Luley, take it away.
Thank you guys very much. Michael Gill-Luley, I'm one of the analysts here at Tischler Bice who worked on this study.
Okay, I'm Julie Herlands, Vice President with Tischler Bice. Carson Bice is out of town with limited internet access, so I'm stepping in, but quite familiar with the project and have worked in the county. And I just by way of introduction, before I turn it back over to Michael to go over the findings, as Dr. Coleman mentioned, this is a draft report. and some draft study, the draft study with preliminary findings. We will present them here to you, realizing that this is the first time you're seeing this. As Dr. Coleman mentioned, if you may have questions, there may not be any questions today until you have time to really absorb it and to provide some feedback. And so we anticipate follow-up from this, obviously, to get input, to get feedback, to further review and confirm the findings in the analysis, and then come back with a next iteration and hopefully a final draft at a subsequent meeting. So with that, I'll turn it over to Michael, who will present the findings. Thank you.
So, our SAR study had three main objectives. The first one was student enrollment projections, and then calculate student generation rates for the county and for the school district. And then finally, it was to come up with some school needs and locational and siting criteria for any future schools. So this is a map of what the current public school student density looks like in the county. And so then, as part of the first step that we took in the analysis was actually calculating the student generation rates. So shown here are sort of our raw totals, the raw amount of students in different types of housing unit and in different grades and housing units, and then the actual total of housing units in the bottom. It's important to note that similar to previous analyses for the county, this is only students and housing units located in subdivisions in Isle of Wight County. And another thing to note, this analysis doesn't split single-family homes between attached and detached because of the data that we were able to obtain from the county. So those are just combined into one single-family category.
Excuse me, just a second.
And here's a map showing the existing subdivisions in the county and that are used. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you guys hear him? I'm having a hard time keeping up with you, sir. Maybe you could slow down a little bit, and then if we could, can we make it full screen so we can?
We don't have visual of the. I don't have visual of the. You don't either, Michael, right? Of the room. So so we are not able to see if someone has a question or is raising their hand or anything. So it does have to be through audio. So I'm not sure if there's another way, or at least a hand up in the.
That's
online.
fine.
So,
I'll make sure that you know.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Just want to make sure. I know.
At this time, the school board members, at this time, he asked, can you slow down just a little bit and just go through the slide? If you can go back to the previous slide.
Yeah.
All right. And just hold
so shown in this figure, we have the top portion is the student counts. That's showing students broken down by grade level in each different housing unit type. So, for example, in single family, there's 865 students in single family housing in K to 3. There's 187 fourth graders that live in single family housing, 459 fifth and sixth graders that live in single family housing, 459 middle schoolers, and then 966 high schoolers who live in single family housing. That comes up to a total of 2,936 students. Then we continue that through with the other housing unit types to get a total of 3,289 students. And then shown at the bottom of that figure is the total number of housing units, broken down by our three different housing unit types: single family, multifamily, and mobile home. And we had a total of 10,897 housing units in our analysis. And the student figures were provided by the school district, and then the housing units, those numbers were derived via address points data from Isle of Wight County GIS.
All right. So could you please stop after every single slide just so the school board members can ask questions? Mr. Marsh, the chair, has a question at this time.
I guess first, thank you, sir, for rattling this off. And again, this is certainly the first time we're seeing this. Just to be clear, the numbers you have up there, is that Isle of Wight, or does that include the town of Smithfield and Windsor?
That is all of Isle of Wight County.
So according to that slide, there should be a total student population of roughly 33 3,300 students, is that right?
So this is just for subdivisions. This is just an analysis of students and housing units currently in subdivisions in Isle of Wight. So that is why it is lower than, the overall enrollment.
That makes more sense. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And then moving on, then this is the map of those subdivisions that are included in this analysis. They're highlighted in green. And so then we use those raw student totals and the housing unit totals to come up with student generation rates by each housing unit type. So the bottom shows the total based on the housing unit type, and on the right is rent grade. And so a single family home generates 0.310 students per housing unit, a multifamily unit generates 0.191, and a mobile home generates 0.392 for an overall student generation rate of 0.302. Again, this is only in subdivisions based on students in subdivisions and housing units in subdivisions. So the next part of our analysis was to do the student projections. And so what we're doing is a cohort survivability projection. And so the first step in that is to actually calculate current population in different age cohorts and then project that forward. So population for each age cohort is taken from census data, primarily the American Community Survey, ACS. And the annual population growth rate is from the Weldon Cooper Center, the recent projections that they just put out, I believe in July. And so our analysis holds that these, age cohorts, the proportions of them are going to remain constant as we go through the study time frame. So, and then we turn those age cohorts into students.
Could you give me 1 minute? 1 minute. Mr. Marsh.
Bear with me, sir, because I don't know what I don't know. Define an age cohort. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, so an age cohort is, it's a grouping of, you can see in the left side of the figure at the top of this slide, it's a grouping of people by age. So in 2024, there are, according to the ACS data, there are 4,177 people who are aged 3 to 11 living in Isle of Wight County. And then the next cohort is 12 to 14, and there are approximately 1,500 people that age, and then 15 to 17 is 1,600, which gets you to a subtotal of 7,397. Roughly public school age residents in the county, and then there's a total population in the county of 41,048, according to the ACS.
So for 2024 actual, the total the total age cohort from age 3 to 17 is 7,397.
Yes.
And if Isle of Wight County Schools today has roughly 5,400 kids, the difference between those two numbers are the kids that live in Isle of Wight but are not enrolled in public schools.
Yes, yeah, that's one way. That would be one factor. Also, again, since the cohort does start at 3, you get a little bit of, students who actually aren't in the school system yet, who aren't actually of school age. But yes, primarily the difference is going to be between that. And also these are ACS numbers, so they aren't an exact count. The ACS, is an approximation based on census data, so it's not going to equal, the exact student counts that you guys had for 2024.
Thank you.
So these population projections are then actually converted into students using the actual enrollment numbers for 2024. Using current ratios, and we hold those ratios constant throughout the study period. We project students for each different school level in the county. And this results in a total increase in 426 students in the next 10 years.
So, in other words, at a 0.75% average growth rate, we're adding roughly 50 age cohorts between 3 and 17 years every year. Just rough math here.
Yeah, roughly. I believe if I'm understanding you correctly,
Yeah.
then yes.
Yeah, now, I'm just curious on how we reach that. Are you looking at the new housing developments that have been approved or being built, or just natural growth? Exactly how are you coming up with the increase each year?
Yeah, so we are using we're using the Weldon Cooper Center projections, which are they take a look at the overall market in Isle of Wight County. We don't model specific projects. That's not how we chose to do this analysis. But those are captured in our growth projections. We are capturing those currently approved and under construction developments.
All right. Thank you.
So, forget to move on. So this is just a map of the current elementary school districts and the current middle and high school districts, and our analysis holds that these are going to remain the same throughout our 10-year projection. And then we use these districts to actually do a projection for each school in the district. Again, using some of these, we're using ratios and based on those current attendance areas. And so you can see, the 426 student increase matches up with the last one, and then this is just exactly how it gets broken down into each different school. So, and then the next part of our analysis, we kind of get into that future needs part now that we've moved past, actually projecting students, is showing, comparing current capacities with, the projected growth. So the cells that are shaded in yellow are any school exceeding 75% of its total capacity. Any cell shaded in orange is a school exceeding 85% of its total capacity, and then any school in red is exceeding 90% total capacity. And those, thresholds are in line with the current school district policy about, when school capacity is reached, the steps that have to be taken to mitigate that.
So, hold on. Dr. Coleman, do the capacities that are listed at the bottom of this chart, do they mirror our regulation FBR?
Let me check with Ms. Briggs, because I know we moved the percentage around for the policy implementation. It's 75. Ms. Briggs. Ms. Briggs. No problem. At the bottom of the chart, 75, 85, and 90 percentile is, are those the standard still? I know we changed it around for the policy implementation. Yes. So, sir, the yellow shading area should be indicating 80% and not 75%. But that was a change that we implemented with the policy.
Okay.
So that's something that will be given to Tischler Bice so they can actually redo their calculations based off of 80% of the total capacity instead of 75%.
Did the other thresholds change as well, or is it 80, 85, and then 90?
At this time, it's 80, 85, and 90.
Okay, great, perfect, thank you.
And my question for you folks is how are you defining the capacity of each building?
So that's, those capacity numbers are provided by the school district. It's whatever currently, whatever the current school capacity figures for the school district. I know we were in discussion about there might be an update to those. You guys might be changing some of those. So that's another edit we can make, if those do change for 2024. or they just changed for this upcoming school year, this 2025, 2026 school year.
So we don't know how we define capacity? Or were these just raw numbers provided?
If I could add some context, each year we need to update our program capacity numbers. For example, at 3 of our elementary schools, we have an additional SPED classroom. That classroom can only hold 8 students. Last year, it might have been a first grade room that was able to accommodate 24. So we will go in and calculate program capacity annually based on any changes in programming that's occurred. And we don't have the numbers for this coming school year yet until we finalize enrollment and the number of classrooms we're going to have. So we recommended that they just continue right now with what we had in place September 30th of 2024.
Got it. Understood.
So that's the formula they use.
Yeah. Which, yeah, and that formula is going to adjust once we. Right.
Yeah. So, and so then this goes into our next, the final part of this analysis, which is the actual site selection criteria. So we analyze current levels of service that is being offered. This was a combination of those capacity figures and current size and acreage of the school site, which was we got from county assessment information. And so using these and some, recent school construction across the state of Virginia, we sort of developed we developed some guidance on what future new school construction might look like for the county. And so what that means is that a new elementary school would be in the range of 600 to 800 students with the size of 75,000 to 100,000 square feet on a 25 to 30 acre campus. For middle school, it would be anywhere from 700 to 1,000 student capacity with 100,000 to 140,000 square feet of floor area on a 30 to 45 acre campus. And then for a high school, it would be a 1,000 to 1,500 student capacity on 150,000 to 225,000 square feet of area on a 40 to 60 acre campus. Now, again, these are just guidelines. Ultimately with, the planning process you guys have set up, any, future schools, would be planned out, and would fit the needs of the community at that time. So that's it for our, for this presentation of our draft findings. So if you guys have any additional questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Can we go to slide 15?
Yeah.
So we know that today, Smithfield High School students are occupying 20 classrooms that technically belong to Smithfield Middle School. Is that captured in this table?
No, I would say that isn't currently captured.
No, it's not. It is not. It is not captured at this time.
Okay, so that was,
yeah, correct. It's not.
I think that's something that needs to be captured.
Yes, sir.
And I can't cite them all, but I know we've got various schools across the division where space in that school is being occupied or utilized by some purpose other than instruction. Are those spaces captured in this table?
Yes, yes, because we, what this looks at is, we consider, those as important functions to a school outside of just, instruction. That kind of goes into the overall planning process when you have to build a school is, some of those other areas. So we include everything. This is not just, this is not just classroom square footage. This is, hallways, gyms, cafeterias, etc.
So for example, if I have my IT department is occupying a classroom in a school, is that captured?
Yes, it would be. In the square footage, yes. In the capacity, I believe not, the actual capacity figures, because the capacity is only, based on actual student stations.
Understood. So that the root for my question is, one of the things we're trying to figure out here is what the no-kidding program capacity of each school is. So, I guess that's the root of this entire effort. We've been working with the county for some time now to kind of nail down what the actual capacity or how our buildings are utilized so that they can use this data to complement their efforts on the total population with respect to developments that are forthcoming. So I think stuff like that really needs to be captured in here. And I don't know if I'm making sense. It makes sense in my mind.
Yes, sir. That's going to fall on the next steps also. The next steps is give the school board an opportunity to digest the information in front of you. Also give us a chance, the staff a chance to really go through the details, because a lot of the staff, Ms. Briggs and I received this today. So it gives us a chance to actually go through it and come up, review the presentation, come up with all the ideas, consolidate things of the nature of what you're stating right here. Make sure that we document that and send it back off to Tischler Bice to have them to start really digging into the details more and applying some of those aspects that we bring up and put it into the actual report. So that's what the next steps are.
Thanks, Dr. Coleman. And so I haven't seen what Tischler Bice put together for Isle of Wight, but I am curious as to whether or not or how we're capturing projections from future housings. So whether or not the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commissions approve or disapprove various housing projects that are on the table, a lot of it's going to be weighted on this, I would imagine, or at least some of the discussions and negotiations that go forward.
Right, yeah, so we appreciate that question, and we've had lots of discussion here about that. And so just know that those new housing units are baked into these projections. They are captured in these projections. So we have a list of the pipeline developments, looking at what projects are active, how many are being built, absorbed, being built per year, and ensuring that amount of growth and development is reflected in the projections, of which it is. It's the Weldon Cooper Center, their growth rate reflects that amount of growth, and we have been very diligent about looking through the pipeline projects, distinguishing between active and inactive, and then really understanding what's being built year over year. We also, as you well know, our firm is working on the county side to do some growth modeling as well, of which some of that will come out within the month as well. But really the baseline trend projection is just under, it is under 1%. That growth effort is looking at some alternatives to sort of test a total hypothetical projection, but the actual growth rate and what's being built and being realized in the county is under 1%, and the projections reflect that, as well as what we're seeing in terms of the market and the building of those units year over year. So we did, I appreciate that question, and we've had, again, lots of discussion internally here about that, and just know that we are cognizant and that those units are captured within these projections.
I appreciate that explanation. I guess a couple questions. So with the understanding that this is all going to get adjusted and we still have to digest it, that's all fine. For Dr. Coleman and Dr. Kramer here, is this going to be sufficient for you and the staff to look at and say, based off these projections, this year and the future year and so on and so forth, we're going to have to look at rezoning? Does this give you enough information to make those decisions? I mean, at the end of the day, we're paying for a tool to help us plan in advance, right? So is this going to scratch that itch?
I'm not sure, to be totally candid with you. I do have some questions that I'd like to share with staff, actually. I think Dr. Coleman alluded to this. I think we need to have some discussion with representatives from Tischler Bice certainly before this is final. I think to answer some of our questions prior to the final document and before this is presented again to our board. So I'm looking at this as a very iterative process. So I'm going to look at the representatives here, and I think we need to schedule with our staff some time with officials from Tischler Bice to ask more questions. I have more questions than I think are probably appropriate for this setting. So I would, to answer your question, Mr. Chair, I would say at this stage, no. But I don't fault anyone. I just think we need to spend some time having conversation with Tischler Bice outside of this setting.
I appreciate that, and I think our guidance was pretty vague from the onset. We set some boundaries, but they weren't very specific. So, and then I guess my next question for you folks, there's no specific skill set to sitting on one of these boards. So your average board member, your average layman has to look at this data, and they have to go off. They have to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to push back or make decisions on building schools or approving housing complexes and how it's going to affect the county as a whole. You said that the calculations for specific projects that were on the docket, so to speak, were baked in there. If I was a betting guy, I'd say the folks at the county would want to see some of the details about exactly what's baked in there. That's probably project specific, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to speak on behalf of the county by any shape or form, but I myself am curious to see if someone's proposing a 200 single family home project, what exactly is that bringing for student projections? And I don't expect an answer right now. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, really. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, and if I may, again, not having the ability to see what's happening, I don't want to speak out of turn, but we, in terms of those types of questions, analyses on specifically about new housing development, we have that capability to do that, to do those kinds of projections and estimates based on, again, the work we've done currently with this work and other efforts with the county, but can do those projections. And in fact, when we're talking about this pipeline development, we have done a separate sensitivity analysis, if you will, or sort of off model or a separate related analysis of those pipeline projects to ensure, to get at that. So that is something that we can continue to discuss and work through, have those conversations. I'm confident that in terms of questions about either reorganization or shifting of grades or use of existing space or the need for expansion, that what we have done and what we have provided in the report, as well as what we're modeling here, can assist with answering those questions. But as was mentioned, and as Superintendent mentioned, that we're ready. We're at the ready to have those follow-up conversations at the staff level and kind of continue to work this through, and then come back with a final that ideally answered the questions that you all have answered with this effort.
Thank you for that, Ms. Hurlins. I would ask that we find time to schedule an opportunity, our staff, with representatives from Tischler Bice, to have some further discussions as we work through this process. So I will ask you, Dr. Coleman, if you would be our conduit and point of contact with Tischler Bice to schedule an opportunity for us to have some ongoing conversations.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, sir.
Yep.
No, I'm good.
As do I. Yeah, so the three of us that are up here, and we're missing two tonight, we've all got lots of questions, and we'll put those together and work with Dr. Kramer and staff. I do want to be remiss if I didn't say that we met with Mr. I can't say your name, sir.
Gil Lugie.
Michael.
Yes.
Call me Jason. Michael. We met with you, I believe it was you on June 17th, right, via video call.
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. Supervisor Roundtree was there, and it was the understanding that this would be a done deal by July 31st. Obviously, that's not the case. I've had numerous ongoing conversations with Supervisor Roundtree and Supervisor DiStefano from the county. She said, feel free to say her name out loud. Supervisor Roundtree wanted me to make it abundantly clear that it is her expectation that come August 21st, the Tischler-Weiss reports are briefed to the Board of Supervisors, not just the county one, but the Wight County School Board report as well. So I think that puts us in kind of a time crunch, but that's certainly the expectation. And I certainly hope we can meet that. Over.
All right, well, we're happy to work in partnership with all of the parties involved. We view this as a partnership, and, we have, we have a process and data needs that we're required to, that we need to make sure that we're comfortable with and that are defensible. And so, we would rather be right than rushed. And so, we appreciate the continued, again, the partnership and the involvement of staff, and we'll look to have those meetings, hopefully prior in enough time to be able to vet the final product before the 21st. But again, we've been around a long time. We've been doing this a long time, and we look to to produce and present the best product that we can. And so that, again, requires involvement with the client internally, what we've done here, and, and working, again, in partnership with the various actors, various participants in these projects. So I appreciate the interest, and so hopefully we can get there.
Thank you, ma'am. And up until this point tonight, have you had any hurdles or obstacles with getting the information or the data or the coordination you need from either Wight County Schools or the county level?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that at all.
Have up until tonight, have you had any hurdles or obstacles that have slowed you in this process, either from the school side or the county side?
Oh, well, I think there's just been, receiving of information in the specific information in enough time for us to complete our process. Again, there's receiving of information, and then there's analysis we need to do on our side. So, again, we need to make sure that we're, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, et cetera. So just receiving the information doesn't necessarily mean that we can, turn that around, instantly. So anyway, I think there's been a partnership and involvement, and we did produce a draft report that got to the schools prior to this meeting. But again, we're looking, we still need feedback and input and review to make sure that you all are comfortable with what's been produced, what's in this preliminary draft. And we've already heard a few things that we need to take a little bit a closer look at. But again, and I think someone mentioned it is an iterative process. We will continue to make those changes and do those iterations to come to a conclusion. But again, it's a process, and we're, again, stand ready to continue to work.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything more? Okay. Good. Dr. Coleman?
That is it, sir, if there's no more questions. All right.
We appreciate you guys taking the time to dial in tonight and giving us what you got.
Yeah. We
Thank you.
appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, thank you for accommodating the virtual presentation as well. We had some definite challenges here on our end with logistics, so.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Coleman.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
So, Mr. Chair, we will move forward with Dr. Coleman to find some time for our staff to work with their representatives, and I would ask any questions that you, the board, might develop, please get those to us so that we can in turn convey those to the Tischler Bice representatives.
Yes, sir, 100%.
Yeah, Dr. Kramer, I'll be around Monday and Tuesday morning, so all day Monday and Tuesday morning. So I'd just like to come up and, chat with yourself, Dr. Coleman, Ms. Briggs, and try to flesh out what I've got in my head. It's really hard to put into words right now, but I understand what they did on some of this. Some of this I really don't understand, but I just want to make sure that they get it right, because paying a lot of money, they're a professional organization, and we want the Board of Supervisors to understand exactly the same thing that we understand, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Absolutely.
So if you can just, let me know Monday or Tuesday when a couple of you have some time, we could flesh some of this out.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Collick. And Mrs. Whitlow, can we send a soft copy of this to Mr. Rooster and Mrs. Perkins? Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, we ready to move along? Cole, over to you, young man.
Thank you, Mr. Marsh. Good evening, everyone. I would like to voice a concern I have concerning the metal detectors at Windsor High School. As we have shifted to this new routine of going through the metal detectors in the morning, I have noticed something that I think should be brought to the board's attention. After a certain time in the morning, the metal detectors are turned off for the rest of the day. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Visitors, CTE students, late arrival students, and tardy students do not go through the proper metal detector procedure. I feel that we need to reevaluate the protocol at the times that the metal detectors are in use. All visitors and students that come in after these metal detectors are turned off are not gone through the proper safety procedure. And that alone can be a huge threat, not just to the students and staff inside Windsor High School, but all schools in Wight County. I have brought this to the board's attention for the safety of all students and staff inside of the Wight County. Thank you for listening to my concern. On a lighter note, the Windsor Dukes football team does have a joint practice with the Wight County Academy Chargers, so we're hoping for the best for them, and thank you all for my time. Thank you.
Thanks, Cole.
Mr. Chair, may I respond?
Absolutely, sir.
Go ahead, I'll let you finish, and then I'll respond to Cole.
I was just going to say I'm going to allow Dr. Kramer a chance to respond.
Yeah.
Very good, and I'm not going to throw you under the bus, Dr. Coleman. I will respond on behalf of the division. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Mumford.
Yes,
I appreciate your very astute analysis. We are in agreement with you. We are well aware of that. We will be presenting to the board recommendations in terms of how we should be addressing that, not just for Windsor, but for Smithfield High School as well. So it's something we are aware of. There is a staffing challenge that we're confronting for both of our high schools, and will be for our middle schools as well. So with your very wise and accurate assessment, again, we will be presenting to the board a recommendation to address that for all of our secondary schools.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Cole, anything else?
That's it. That's it. Yes, sir.
Mr. Collick, Ms. Cunningham?
Good to go.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, that takes us to 13-1, Dr. Kramer's designees.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. So we do this annually. So I am going to recommend that the board move to approve Dr. Christopher Coleman Deputy Superintendent for Operations, and Mrs. Susan Getz, Deputy Superintendent for Instruction, to be the superintendent's designee for the 2025-2026 school year.
I guess one of us has to make the actual motion. So I'll make the motion to approve Dr. Kramer's recommendation for Dr. Coleman and Mrs. Getz as the superintendent's designees through September 1st of 2026.
And I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I will just say that Dr. Coleman and Mrs. Getz both have done amazing stuff since my time on the board. Dr. Coleman runs around fancy with his fancy shirt and tie, and he's constantly pulling magic tricks out of his hat. And Mrs. Getz is always feverishly working behind the scenes. So appreciate everything you guys do and will continue to do.
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
and Mr. Marsh.
Yes. (13-2), Mrs. Getz.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members, Dr. Kramer. You have before you a memorandum of understanding between Wight County School Board and Western Tidewater Community Service Board. The Western Tidewater Community Services are willing to enter into a partnership with us, and they will provide folks who will work in our schools, work with our alternative education students and in our Alta Ed program on a daily basis. They will provide support for students, for staff, with parent permission, of course, and enter into a therapeutic counseling arrangement with those students, again, upon parent approval. So the memorandum just lays out what each party will do and what we agree to, and we're asking for your approval tonight so that we can get this signed and ready to go for the first day of school.
And Mr. Marsh, just to let you know, there was one slight change to the memorandum of understanding, so the new document is hung on the agenda.
And Mr. Chair, if I may add, I'd like to, Mrs. Getz stated it clearly, but I think it's important to note for the community, it's at the parents' approval. So we will certainly not be working with any child in our schools without the parents' prior approval.
Yeah, I'd like to say this is something that Mrs. Tynes has advocated for quite a while when she was on the board, and I've totally supported it. So I think, putting this together, great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would like to just commend Christy Buggs. She did a lot of the lead work for this. As she's going to be overseeing the alternative program, she felt it was really important to have this component in her program.
It's certainly all goodness. As we discussed before the meeting, Mrs. Getz, this is a step towards taking some of the workload off of our schools' academic counselors, who often get pulled into doing counseling that's not necessarily academic.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can help those counselors refocus on what they're supposed to do and shed some of this load off the Western Tidewater Community Service Board, that's all goodness. We appreciate you getting all this together.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'd move to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Western Tidewater Community Services Board as presented and attached.
Second.
Any comments? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes, motion passes. Takes us to 13-3, the SRO MOU.
Mr. Chair, school board members, SRO MOU for the August 2025 school year. This is a This is the renewed MOU for this upcoming school year. There are no changes from last year. Every year we're required to go through this process of ensuring that the MOU is signed not only by the school board, but also by the sheriff's office also. As you can see, the sheriff has already signed off on his side of the copy, and this is an action item waiting for your approval.
Dr. Coleman, I do have some questions,
All right.
like I do every year
Yes,
when
sir.
we come to this. So I'm looking for a specific paragraph. I don't see it, but so I'll just
Okay.
try to do it from memory. So the SROs, along with the principals, is supposed to identify different things that are happening, trends in each school.
Yes, sir.
Is there any mechanism in place for the SROs between the schools to share so we can identify trends within the entire school division?
At this time, what we have is the end of the year crisis. What's the report at the end of the year that every principal does, along with the SRO, along with Mr. Brinkley. I forgot the exact name for it, but it's the report for the DCJS. So there is a mechanism in place along with a unified template that is used. Yes, sir.
But we don't have anything to catch things during the year as things are going on, so we can identify and preempt. Let me give you, for example.
Okay.
Okay. In federal service, I used to have to do a weekly activity report.
Yes, sir.
To identify, anything that was basically unusual.
Right.
And, people in my profession, we all did the same thing. We were able to identify trends that way, throughout the mission set. And so just something to put in, your hip pocket, talk to the SROs about that, talk to the principals. That may be something that could help, especially if we see, some type of drug,
yes,
coming into the county. That could help preempt it.
Absolutely.
So that's my first question.
Right. And we have a division crisis team meeting coming up next week, so that's going to be a great opportunity to present that information.
Very good. And then somewhere in here, it also says principals are responsible for reporting certain types of criminal activity, to the SRO. My question is, which types of criminal activity are we not reporting?
All right. Ms. Getz is going to be able to answer that a little clearer, but I don't want to mislead anyone. But at the same time, Ms. Getz, do you want to go into detail? Ms. Getz can go in a little bit better detail with that training for the school.
So there are certain offenses in the state code that we are required that we report and that the courts report to us if it's things that happen outside of the school building. So like drug offenses, weapons, some assaults. I don't have the exhaustive list, but those are to name a few that we are required to, that we would notify and they would notify us for the same types of offenses.
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about the courts notifying us. I know they do that. My concern is if somebody commits a criminal act in school, we should report it.
Oh, that's definitely happening.
Okay.
So like the principals absolutely will share there's an open line of communication with the SRO. They are discussing if things are happening, if we have knowledge, if we suspect something.
Well, that's where the wording comes into play.
I'm with you.
That's where the wording comes into play where we say.
Yes, can I clarify just a little bit?
Yeah.
So we have certain things in the code of conduct that it actually says we must report to law enforcement. So like a little like shoving match between two students, we're not required to report that. An assault where there's an injury, we are required to report that to law enforcement.
So my suggestion would be, and the MOU said, we will report criminal activity to the SRO instead of just certain types. So I would, like to see that part changed, because we should be reporting all criminal activity. And if there's discretion allowed, I think the discretion should be at the discretion of the law enforcement officer. when it comes to criminal activity.
Mr.
Whether-
Collick, are you asking that we be more specific, that we
Yes.
specify what
Yes, sir.
those offenses are?
Absolutely.
In the MOU? Okay.
Yes, sir. Next question I had, I found later in it, so I'm good there. And this is the same issue I had a couple years ago. It says the principal will be present if time doesn't allow for parents to be there, and the principal will serve in the absence of the parents.
Yeah.
I still, every year I tell you this, I don't like that. Okay? The principal is an authority figure, and you have a child who's being accused of something, he's being questioned by a police officer, he's got another authority figure there, with him, not his parents. That's very intimidating. Okay? I would rather see, let's wait. Okay? I can't see very many crimes that are so time constrained that you can't wait for the parents. Okay? I don't think that should be in there at all.
So I would like to respond to that. So it is our practice that we always notify parents. So the
Yes.
principals will always call and say, we are investigating, law enforcement would like to talk to your child. I was actually surprised by how many parents actually say proceed without them. In those cases, the principal will sit in as the in loco parentis for the parent while the officer questions the student. So we always call the parent, request the parent to come in. Parents do decline, and in that case, we do move forward.
Can we put that in the MOU? If the parent declines to come in that case, the principal or an administrator would sit in there.
Now, yes, but I wouldn't want to, if there was a situation where time was of the essence and a parent was an hour away, which happens often with our community, I would not want to hold up a very serious investigation because we were waiting for a parent. Does that make sense?
It certainly does. And like I said, there's going to be sometimes that could happen. But that's going to be, an anomaly. That's not going to be the rule, and I think we can word it in such for that. But I really think the parents should be asking, hey, can you sit in for me? I'm not going to be there. You take care of it on your own. I'd rather see that in there very definitively than the way it's currently worded. And in practice, it probably doesn't make any difference. But you never know. There could be somebody that just looks at it, this is the reg, okay, I'm sitting in there, wouldn't notice somebody else is notifying the parents while we're questioning a kid. I just don't like that. I want to make sure it's very definitive so that the child's rights are not infringed, and at the same time, the investigation that needs to go on can go on. Okay? That's what I'd like to see.
Yes, sir. I'm taking the notes on that.
Okay.
I think we definitely.
Mr. Colleague, would you be able to get your questions to me? Because actually, as you're talking, I don't think it's an anomaly, respectfully. And as a former high school principal, I can think of numerous situations where time is of the essence and parents aren't going to be readily available because they work in Norfolk or because they work wherever, or the child may not have a parent who can respond for a number of reasons. And I won't be too specific and go into detail, but I'm thinking of several off the top of my head at this very moment where that would be problematic. And the situation is of a serious enough issue that we can't wait because a parent isn't available to physically come in. Without belaboring the point this evening, perhaps you and I can have an offline, perhaps we can involve Dr. Coleman, Mr. Brinkley. I see our wonderful, one of the leaders in the sheriff's office, Mr. Johnson here as well. I think we would probably need to have a larger conversation. The concern, though, is that we would need to get the MOU signed fairly quickly. I'm not sure how we do that, but I do have some questions for you. I don't think it's as black and white as we're saying. Again, I can think of a number of situations where a parent may not be available, and we need to take some action fairly immediately given the nature of the issue with the child.
Oh, I would agree. There would be some. I don't have a problem approving this tonight as it's written, but I would really like to sit down before we do this again next year and really refine this, because I think we all have the same intent.
Sure.
But, you know, we all interpret things slightly different, you know, based on words that are used, what part of the country we're from, you know, and different experiences we've had. So I think that's important too.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So if we would sign this evening, I think a very important point Dr. Coleman made is that there is going to be a crisis team meeting actually Tuesday. And I think we can make sure that we add this to that agenda.
Yes,
and have that larger conversation. I'm not sure there's an opportunity to get your questions to us in advance so that we can add that discussion to that meeting on Tuesday. So I value your input. You and I probably just have a different perspective on this. You're coming from a law enforcement perspective, perhaps, and I am coming from a perspective of being a former high school principal. And I think we're seeing this slightly differently.
Well, we've got another 11 months then to
Right.
really refine
We won't
this.
wait until 11 months, or we'll
So-
start this conversation now.
Yep,
But in terms of
absolutely.
signing the document, yes,
Yep.
if we could sign this evening, we'll make
Yeah.
sure that your concerns are addressed immediately.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this is the action item.
All right, lots of good discussion. Yes, yes, would one of you gentlemen like to make a motion?
I'll do it. All right, Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to approve the SRO Memorandum of Understanding for 2025 through 2026 as presented.
And second.
Any further discussion?
No.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Colick,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
and Mr. Marsh.
Yes, motion passes. All right, gentlemen, Carrollton HVAC.
All right.
Next item will be the Carrollton HVAC update. I would like to first introduce Mr. Chris Gossett, who has joined us tonight from RRMM. Mr. Gossett has worked on various projects through RRMM with the division. He knows the division very well, and he's taken the lead on the Carrollton HVAC. We first started this project months ago in the planning phases, and now he's really taken an active part for the last month of this project to make sure that we're coming in on time, or coming in, on time and under budget. So, Mr. Gossett?
Yep. Good evening, Dr. Kramer, Chair, and members of the board. My name is Chris Gossett. I'm with RRMM Architects. I'm a principal at the firm. And as Dr. Coleman said, I have been working on a lot of projects with you all for many years. About a year ago, we began working and met in this room for approval of the project. Back in like July 2024, we started the designs for the Carrollton HVAC replacement. The designs were completed on time, and the bids came in on December 17th, well under budget. $1.6 million below budget, actually, which is pretty good. So with that said, as you know, I am here to give you an update on the status of the current construction of the project. Walking the job site as a design team, I'm looking at the worst case scenarios. I'm always focused on trying to find something that might not be going right. That's our job, is to look out for you guys. So me walking on the job site right now, I have some concerns. Now, we have a good contractor out there, though, and I talk to them almost every single day. They are aware of our concerns, and we feel that we can trust their word and the promises that they've made to meet this schedule. But JRC Mechanical has assured us that they will meet the substantial completion date of August 26th. They're working 7 days a week to meet that deadline. Some of the crews are working 12-hour days or more. On projects like this, there always is a crunch time towards the end because inspections are going on and you have to leave the ceilings out in order for the inspectors to be able to see what's going on above ceiling, like mechanical piping, the duct work, electrical connections, things like that. So those are things that you can't see without leaving the ceiling out, So the last couple weeks or last few days of the project, they're in there throwing ceiling tiles up, finishing drywall, painting, and things like that. So the projects really start to close out quick in those last 2 weeks. With that said, to get on to the list that was provided to me by JRC Mechanical, I've pulled together a project status report. Pretty generic, but I think it'll help everybody understand exactly where we're going. So JRC's mechanical systems above ceiling inspections have already commenced. The engineers, our engineers that we have hired, will be doing above ceiling inspections next week, hopefully next week. The ceiling grid in Area A, which is the administrative area, the cafeteria,
the
gym, and all that. The ceiling grid in those areas will begin installation, and they've already begun installation, and they're also completed the ceiling grid installation in Area C. Again, the tiles can't go in until inspections are complete. A big push is happening throughout the project with ceiling grid and insulation. Initial cleaning has begun in Area C and A. Again, Area C is a grade house. That's the first grade house you see in the building when you approach the school. Area A is, again, the administrative and office area. Gas piping to the boiler that was completed, that will be completed by this weekend and ready for startup next week. The cooling tower piping is completed. Controls and power and heat trace still needs to be completed on that unit, but it will be ready for startup again next week. All VAVs, there's our variable air volume control units that are in the ceiling that allow the teachers to control the temperatures in the space and so on. Those are being piped in. The electrical work is completed for these units, and the control work is still outstanding, so there's still a little bit of work to do on those. The fan coil units, those are like the little individual ceiling-mounted HVAC systems in the spaces. Those are mostly complete. They're finishing up condensate drains, routing those to the outside of the building, but all power and controls are connected. On August 11th, we will commence the chemical flush of the system. The initial filling of the HVAC system will begin, and this will consist of adding like a detergent to clean the entire mechanical system, all the pipes, everything of welding debris, anything else that may have been in the system. They'll flush it, they'll bleed it, and of all air and anything else that might be in the system. This must happen before we start up the pumps or any other systems. Again, another item on August 11th, casework will begin to be reinstalled in all the classroom wings. August 11th, commissioning meeting will start up, and this is Monday, actually this coming Monday, I believe, August 11th. So commissioning meeting will start with startup techs, Thompson engineers, and the owner's rep. On Tuesday, August 12th, startup of the cooling tower and the boilers will commence. And an old rooftop condenser will be demoed on August 13th, and the new rooftop condenser will be set on August 14th. As you can see, a lot of this is happening next week, and it's going to be a big week for sure for the project. Once we have the pumps, the boilers, and the cooling tower started up and complete the required flushes, they'll be turning on more and more equipment as the engineers complete their inspections. so air will start to flow. Any temporary cooling that is ever needed on the project, if anything can't be completed for one reason or another, shipment gets derailed or something like that, the contractor will pay for that and install that temporary cooling on their dime. They know that. They know they're well aware of that, and they already have means and methods in place just in case that happens. We are working with the contractor to start allowing teachers to move in certain areas of the building on August 20th, which is 6 days ahead of our substantial completion date. And we will kind of allow that to happen one area at a time.
All right. And I just want to point out a couple of things that Mr. Gossett stated that are very crucial to the project. No matter what occurs, because anything can occur at this time with, as he stated, mechanical devices being laid or different things of that nature, we are already guaranteed that if that does happen, if that does occur, units from the outside, additional units will be brought in at no cost. GRC will pick up the bill on that, so school will start on time. So that is crucial to the status as it is right now. Brian, could you pull up that picture? We started talking about 820. All right, so this is Mr. Brennan, the principal, the POC, and Dr. SJ over at the school today, and we went over for a visit, and we got an opportunity to talk what Mr. Gossett was pinpointing on 820. Right now, the plan is to start moving teachers in smaller groups. Mr. Brennan has a full laid out schedule of how he's going to do this, and he's going to break it down and send that information out to the teachers. So he will head this up, and he will ensure that the teachers can get in a little earlier, just based on the fact that they have a little bit more to do than just the regular teacher coming in later. They have to move their whole classroom and put everything back together. We really want to allot them the time to be able to do that in a comfortable setting. So we're going to try to start that on the 20th. So that, the details of that will be sent out to the teachers through Mr. Brennan. I want to pinpoint that. Are there any questions on the status as we stand at? This is another picture of Mr. Brennan as he's getting detailed into the HVAC systems.
Sounds like Mr. Dossett or Gossett?
Gossett.
Gossett. It sounds like you wear two hats, like architecture and project manager.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Sounds like a lot of moving pieces. So I think you've already said it. If you finish 26 August, that gives you 3 weekdays and then Labor Day weekend.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Are we, ABM, going to be able to accommodate all the cleaning?
Yes,
or
sir.
Is the contractor doing that?
One thing that what Mr. Gossett pointed out was that he pointed out it was grid work and ceiling tiles. At this time, substantial piping has already been completed, and we're moving forward. What's going on now is the grid work, the cleanup, as you just stated. So our JRC has a crew to come in and clean up, and we're working with ABM to come in right behind us at the same time, almost working through that process. There are several classrooms in the A wing, aka the chorus room and the band room, that are already completed. And ABM, Mr. Eric Smith is here tonight, but ABM will be moving there this weekend. They will actually start the cleaning process and the waxing process on those areas this weekend. So we're moving right along. As soon as a classroom comes available, it's going to be cleaned and moving forward. So, but it will be 24-hour operations for the remainder of the time period.
And the contractor is aware that, you know, after we're doing some initial cleaning now, trying to just get ahead of the game, but we will have to go back in and install some ceiling tiles. So there's going to be a little dust and dirt still generated with really small construction process. But you know, they'll be coming back and doing that again. So it's not, they're not going to just do this final cleaning right now and walk away. They know before they walk away from that job, it will be clean, like all of it.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just piggyback off of something that you stated that RRMM, that Mr. Gossett does, you stated that he wears two hats. Not only is he the architect of the project, but he's actually day-to-day operations. And we had a small discussion last month concerning some of the things that RRMM do. And with that said, stuff like the FCUs, the AHUs, and different things of that nature, I do not have any idea if this being installed correctly, but he does. And that's why we lean on the experts in those areas to make sure that everything is being properly performed. So I just want to piggyback on that from a conversation from last month.
Sounds like good stuff. It'll make for an interesting open house for Mr. Brennan.
Yeah, there are discussions underway right now, Mr. Brown. I don't want to tell all the secrets. You guys,
Sure there are.
Is it all laid
Mr.
out?
Chair, may I ask, since we have you here, Mr. Gossett, is there a way, it sounds like the things that are being somewhat delayed is the cleanup. Is that, so it seems as if the installation of the HVAC unit or units, that's happening and that's occurring and that's,
Yes,
there are
sir.
no problems with that?
Correct, yeah. All of the big units, the equipment, units in the ceilings, units on the floor, near the windows, the big air handling units, the cooling tower, the boilers, all of that has been installed. All the new pipes have been ran. Every old pipe in the building has been demolished and removed. So, and I think they completed all the welding last week of all the pipe. So it's they're just insulating it now. All the big work is done. When I say cleanup, I would say like the small cleanup type construction work, painting, touching up the paint, finishing the drywall,
Floors.
Yeah, the floors, installing. I think a lot of the floor tile has been installed now. There's going to be some carpet touch-ups and repairs, things like that. But all the big stuff has been done.
That is great to hear, and I'm sure the board is pleased to hear that as well. Is there a way for us to expedite that cleanup? I think you alluded to it, Mr. Chair, and the 26th is pretty tight as we go into a holiday weekend, and our teachers and students will be back on that Tuesday, September 2nd. So is there, I don't want to put you on the spot, although I am. I don't want to, but I am. Is there a way for us to hopefully move that timeline up just a bit? You can nod.
Yeah, I had a long conversation with JRC Mechanical today. They are well aware of the constraints we are dealing with that substantial completion date. And keep in mind that August 26th is substantial completion. It's not final. It's not going to be final completion. So when I say substantial, they can take occupancy of the building. Students can come back when they got to come back. But there's going to be tab reports, which is where they analyze the system and make sure each component is operating the way it needs to operate and not throwing off water down the lines in a different grade house wing of the building. And there's commissioning that needs to be done to make sure that temperature sets points are solid and where they need to be. I'm going to be walking through the building and like evaluating all the finishes and the ceiling tile and all the stuff that you can see. So there's still work that needs to be done after August 26th. But the 20th, when I said I was nervous, I'm nervous that they'll be able to have people in there on the 20th, but they're assuring me that they are going to be able to do that. If they can allow people to go in the building each day after the 20th, maybe open up a different wing or a different set of classrooms,
Right.
I'd be really happy with that. But I don't think that they're going to be able to substantially complete the project before the 26th without a miracle.
And once again, we're talking about the cleanup and ceiling tiles. I don't want anyone to get confused that the pipes, the boilers, the units are not installed. Everything being installed. We're talking about the cleanup once again. The cleanup.
And on Monday, they'll start flushing those systems, and then once that happens, they'll be able to tighten up any leaks that they might see before tiles are dropped. Of course, they'll be able to start commissioning that day. Like not commissioning, but they'll do a pre-con commissioning meeting. So after Monday, things will start moving real quick.
Right.
And they're telling me that they'll start dropping tile as soon as we give them inspection approvals.
And when he says dropping towel, what he means is all grid lines in, all lights installed, reinstalled, I should say, electricity hooked up, and dropping towels mean now ABM can come in, wax the floor, classroom is finished. So when they start dropping towels, it's over. And in some rooms in Wing C, they're already dropping towels.
Thank you, Mr. Gossett. Certainly our concern is giving our teachers an opportunity to get into their rooms to set up before students.
Yes,
come.
sir, absolutely.
But thank you very much for your
Of course.
presentation.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
The first thing you said was that we're looking like we're coming in under budget, but you didn't say it very loud. Why don't you say that again for us, sir?
It came in well under budget, $1.6 million below budget.
It came in, but there are change orders. But there are change orders to complete the project. But it did come in under budget, and we're looking well, but there are change orders that need to be completed. Anything can occur between now and completion date. I just want to throw that out there.
When it's all said and done, I'm sure our friends at the county will be very happy to hear that.
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
All right.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Rock and roll.
Mr. Berry?
Good evening. So for the end of our first month of the new fiscal year, there's nothing to report out of the ordinary, which I'm always pleased to tell you. You might have noticed I did not include a grant report, one that was due to timing, with the month just ending last Friday, and also just still working on trying to get the year-end numbers for the grant balances that are rolling forward. The school activity audit is underway. Auditors were at the schools yesterday, today, and then they finish up next week. I do not have information on fiscal year 25 yet. We are still waiting for the final sales tax number, but I'm confident that things are ending the way that I expect them to. Very positive year, and moving money to our health insurance fund. And that's really all that I have to report. May I answer any questions?
First full month in the new fiscal year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we already did 14.2. Or did we? No.
No, sir.
We did, so 14.2 is ops update, sir.
Not this one, Brian. There we go. Board, we're going to go through a back-to-school readiness checklist as we stand at this time. And I'm going to, while I go over the facilities portion, next slide. Just 4 areas I'm going to go over and make sure that you're updated on where we stand at. There were some questions from community members and board members concerning this, so I just want to make sure that we're well aware. First, I want to go over facilities, and to join me today, I have 2 individuals that's going to come to the front with me, Mr. Eric Smith and Mr. Levert Graham with Pope. I apologize, Pope. All right. These 2 gentlemen work for ABM. Mr. Pope is the grounds manager, and Mr. Eric Smith is the overall coordinator for ABM at the site. So first I'm gonna go through go through the facilities, and then we're gonna just make sure that we're all aware, we're all on the same page of what has been transpiring in the division, but at the same time, let's give the board, because I know the board has been hearing community members, talk to them, give you an opportunity to hear directly from Mr. Smith and Mr. Pope exactly what's going on.
Excuse me for interrupting you, Dr. Cohen. Just want to make certain that those who do not know who ABM, who they are, would you share with them that they're the contractor and what they are obligated to take care of or responsible for?
ABM is the overall contractor for custodial grounds and maintenance for Wight County Schools. This is the third year of the contract. Before then, we was with another company also. We're going to go unnamed. So just for the public to know, ABM is the overall contractor that we use for grounds, maintenance, and custodial services. All right. So just overall, the facilities across the division are progressing well and are expected to be ready for the start of school. The main thing that maintenance is focused on right now is ensuring that the schools are ready to go. At Windsor High School, there are HVAC repairs still going on. A failed bearing in the cooling tower was repaired on August 4th. So we thought that we can get Windsor High School back up and running on August 4th when a bearing had failed and we replaced it. However, a cracked fan blade was discovered. Based on current shipping times, the new part is expected to arrive on August 15th. On August 15th, repairs will be completed promptly after. So everything was fixed at Windsor High School, and then the vendor found that one of the blades in the fan were cracked. So now we have to get a new blade for that. All right. Now, in response to, there's been a lot of conversations concerning the grounds and what's going on with the ABM and but just what's going on in general. Now, in response to the continued turnover that ABM was experiencing in ground servicing staffing and the resulting decline in grounds maintenance across all 9 school campuses, the division will be supplementing grounds maintenance services for the remainder of the year. With that said, Mr. Smith, can you go into more detail about what we're going to do here for?
Good evening, Dr. Kramer.
Hit that button.
Chairman of the board. We have decided to supplement our services through Schultz Landscaping and Grounds Maintenance. They will be taking over the rest of the season for our normal maintenance of the grounds in terms of cutting, edging, and blowing. Graham and his crew will be doing all our detail work and maintaining our sports fields. Also, toward the end of the month, I have Emerson, a company that specializes in sports fields, coming to redo all of our sports fields on both sides, the Windsor and the Smithfield side. All of our mulching and entrance beautification will take place next week, and all of our playground mulching will be done the week after. So we're just trying to pull everything back together, and we've pivoted in another direction to provide the services you're paying for.
And just overall, it was a turnover in personnel for ABM in the grounds team. And when that occurred, we fell behind. Then it started raining, and we fell further behind and fell further behind. And now it's playing catch up. And you already know when it comes to cutting grass during the summer, catch up is not what you want to be doing. So proactive approach that we're taking at this time is to make sure the grounds are covered at no cost to the division. Grounds will be covered and the fields will be covered. I truly want to thank all of the community members that's been reaching out that show their care for the facilities at Wight all over the division, from Carrollton all the way to Carsville. And I just want to thank Mr. Smith and Mr. Pope for coming up with a plan and moving forward to ensure that we get back on schedule. Are there any questions for anything?
Yeah, a couple people have reached out to me. A big thing that's been noticed in some of the schools, especially if they're parking lots that have a lot of cracks, there's a lot of grass coming through, and it's normally not captured when everything's being mowed. And just wonder if you can take a look at that and see if we can remedy that.
Yes, we have put that into our plan. While Schultz is moving around doing our normal cutting, Graham and his 2 guys that he has working with him will be doing, that's part of what we encompass in detail work, taking care of those edges up against the buildings, fence lines, just all the areas that go missed while they're doing their normal cutting.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, I certainly sympathize with the struggles of keeping quality workers on the payroll. I'm sure that you're not the only one experiencing that. So I applaud you for making your pivot and
thank you.
Finding a solution. And the sympathy aside, I'm certain that Dr. Coleman's going to hold you to your requirements. So
certainly.
I think communication early and often is key, because the parents and members of the town certainly they don't hold back.
No, they do not.
No, I'm out there every day, and they walk right up to me. What are you going to do?
And it doesn't help when it rains for a week straight, and
Right.
you got to mow grass every 2 or 3 days anyway. So the struggle is real.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is security and emergency management. Now, full review of all school traffic patterns has been conducted at each site, including one-on-one meetings with not all the school principals. Mr. Brinkley has 2 more principals to have the one-on-one meeting with. Now, these conversations also serve as opportunities to revisit each school crisis management plans and protocols, as Mr. Collick leaned toward earlier, and review last year's school safety audit, and that's what I was looking for, the school safety audit. Now, items that have been addressed and resolved have now been removed to this year's audit. So as Mr. Collick was mentioning earlier, we were doing it on a yearly time, and I think what Mr. Collick is asking, can we do it more on a weekly to bi-weekly? And that's something we can look at the division crisis team.
And what I was saying is more informally too. Doesn't
Yes, sir.
have to be super
It
formal.
doesn't have, yes, sir. Now, additionally, we are pleased to share that our lead security, Mr. Brinkley, has completed a certification as a behavior threat assessment management instructor. Now, this will allow him to have the credential to train all staff to DCJS standards. So one thing that Ms. Perkins had pointed out earlier was, what training can we do in-house? And this is one of those trainings that now we can bring back home. We have a trainer in-house that can do the training for DCJS. Child Nutrition Department is entering 25-26 school year with a strong focus. Now, Ms. Ellen Couch has spent the summer participating in a range of professional development activities. Now, we are pleased to welcome a new child nutrition technician who has been very instrumental in taking over this summer. Throughout the summer, we're doing going away from a 2-week cycle with menus to a 4-week cycle. Doesn't sound like a big difference. It's a huge difference. And we will see a cost savings from that hugely. Next, the team members will attend state-level training sessions provided by, of course, the VDOE on scratch cooking. That's a term that you're going to hear over and over again. Scratch cooking, scratch cooking, scratch cooking. It's the way that everything is headed now. It's, that's just what's going on now.
Scratch cooking? Is that what you
Scratch
said?
cooking, going back to
Like Grandma used to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Going back to the cooks in the kitchen actually cooking instead of taking it off the truck, just putting it in the stove and serving it to the kids. It's called, the VDOE is called scratch cooking. So
That's
you're going to hear a
outstanding.
lot about that. So it's a lot of training going on this summer to get all the cooks and the office staff ready for that.
So, Doc, you went up to Richmond a few months back with the governor when he signed his order about removing red dyes and whatnot.
Yes.
Are we on track to
Yes, sir.
get all that stuff
And
out
I
of our school
believe
lunch?
I can look at it, but I think that it's already in effect, removing the red dyes out of the food. It was 2 different dyes. I can't remember the other one, but it was a red dye, another one. Yes, sir. I believe that is already in effect.
It's outstanding.
Yes. And not only are we doing it, but the co-ops and the surrounding divisions are doing it also. Lastly, the Transportation Department is actively finalizing schedules and routes for the upcoming school year. So you're going to hear a little bit more about that. Finalized route information will be shared with school principals no later than August 25th.
So you got your bus tracker?
Bus tracker, yes, sir.
Is that ready to rock and roll?
Yes, I have to touch base with Mr. Fike on what school are we going to pilot another school, or are we really going to roll out for a full division? But I can have more information on that for you by next meeting. But I know we did the pilot, and we already performed the pilot in Carsville, and everything was successful. One thing I have to find out is how much parent input did we draw from that? Was it a lot, or was it just a little bit? So it's still some data I need to draw from that to find out how popular was this initiative.
It'll be interesting to see that.
All dry runs have been scheduled and will be completed and signed off one
Dr.
week
Coleman,
prior.
one moment, we have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Coleman, how are we looking with bus drivers? I know we're short, but how short are we?
Oh, well, the.
Actually, Mrs. Sullivan, can you address that? Would you repeat your question for Mrs. Sullivan?
Ms. Sullivan, how are we looking with bus drivers? How many are we short?
We aren't, actually, based on what Mr. Fike has shared with me. I mean, it's based on definitely the routes, and so because he's finalizing the routes, he then identifies the number of bus drivers he needs. But he's confident that the bus drivers he has will be able to pick up the routes that he has. So we had an influx of CDL licensed drivers that applied this summer. And in addition to that, we also had, he had several trained that are still finishing up their certifications to be able to drive students on the first day of school, but should be able to accomplish that before the start.
Okay, that is good news, because I've gotten, well, last year, I got so many phone calls and text messages saying their kids were getting home late, or, you know, all kinds of things were happening. So I'm sure the parents are going to be happy that we have bus drivers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan.
And of course, the drive run schedule will be completed and signed off 1 week prior to the first day of school, accordance with policy EEAB. Lastly, I think Ms. Sullivan has already dove into this. The division currently maintains a fleet of 72 buses. I know I'm asked about how many buses do we have. And of these, 68 will be fully operational for daily service on the first day of school. The 4 buses that are held back are spare units. So some of the spare units are a little down right now. That's why we're not 100%. But I know that the question will be asked, how many buses are up, ready to go? The department has successfully, as Ms. Sullivan pointed out, onboarded 5 new bus drivers, but she's already given you the data on that. Mr. Fike would also like to extend his gratitude to the superintendent, the school board, and members of the community, especially Ms. Tiffany Parker, her husband, and Hardy Elementary School PTA for their unwavering support. These are the groups that went to the school board and to the board of supervisors and asked for the increases in funding to the transportation maintenance budget. These significant operational improvements would not have been possible without those individuals really going up and supporting transportation. So he really wanted me to make sure I pinpoint that. That is it, if there's no questions.
And may I just add, Mr. Chair and Dr. Coleman, before you leave the dais, I think it's important to mention that the additional buses, we received the additional buses this year. So remember, we had some serious issues last year with not having enough buses and buses often being broken. So having received those additional buses, I'm sure, has helped. And we have 5 more in the budget for 26. So we'll have 5 more buses that have already been purchased, and hopefully next spring we'll get those additional buses. Am I correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you.
Don't go nowhere. I think you're still up. CIP, is that you?
That is me and Ms. Briggs.
And Mrs. Briggs.
And Ms. Briggs. Ms. Briggs is up first.
Good evening. We created a survey for the community to get input on capital improvement projects, to find out the prioritization that they had for some of the items we know we need to be looking at. We wanted to hear from the community to see how they would prioritize them. So, Dr. Coleman, we conducted the survey between July 22nd and 28th. We had over 500 participants. I already spoke to the purpose of the survey. The next slide is going to show you the results, and I know it's a little busy and hard to read. The highest priority received a 1. So the shorter bars are, which I made red, are the highest priorities. It's a little counterintuitive, but I did list them in order of priority to the right. And for the top 5, gave them the ranking. So you can see West Side was a runaway winner on the survey. HVAC came in second, very important. Traffic, renovating Smithville High, and expanding CTE spaces. And a lot of the feedback we got focused on infrastructure, and that sort of is expressed there. So you can see the remainder, the items, the next items, which are in yellow on the chart, are listed there, and then the final 3 were blue. So we did have an open-ended opportunity, open-ended questions, so that participants could explain their ratings or add additional information. So here's just a summary of a few of the items that we got. So Dr. Coleman.
Ms. Briggs, before you move.
Yes, sir.
What are the numbers on the bottom? The one, they're chronological across the bottom.
Oh, that's just their, that's just the order they came out in the graph. Sorry about that.
So the numbers have no meaning for
No, sir.
precedence?
No. Got
it.
I'm not as savvy as Excel charts as Ms. Colleen Loud, so that was an oversight on my part. Sorry about that. So some of the open-ended responses that we received, Dr. Coleman, if you go on to the next slide, we did hear their concerns with traffic and safety. We saw that at multiple places. We heard as well Carsville Elementary, and concerns with drop-off pickup at our locations. The suggested improvements, not just for Carsville, but across the board, just looking at ways we can reduce traffic that's out on the main highways, and providing more space, I think, to have vehicles on property versus overflowing onto the roadways. Additional security upgrades. We heard from Cole tonight about weapons detection. That came up, vestibules, and just general calls for tightened security. New bus garage came in. We did state at the beginning of the survey that that had been approved. So some of the comments we got are actually things that are in the works, but we wanted to reflect them as well. So we did hear about transportation, possible reusing older facilities, Dr. Coleman. The infrastructure, once again, especially with HVAC, tied into the impact HVAC failures will have on facilities. So facility maintenance and upgrade, including bathrooms and structural issues, and making sure that items that affect the infrastructure are really a high priority. We did see some things that discuss academic and program expansion. So you can see some specialized programs, expanding opportunities in the specialized programs, even some staffing concerns and culture concerns, behavioral concerns at schools. Even arts and athletics, we got a call for bleachers for Smithville Middle School's gymnasium, because there are no bleachers in the Smithville Middle School gym. Band rooms, middle school sports, that seems to come up frequently. And other suggestions, better teacher pay and free reduced lunch expansion. So we wanted to make sure that we highlighted all of those for you. But we felt like it was, for a summer survey, 500 responses was not too bad. And we got, even though we didn't ask them to identify their relationship to Wight County Schools, some of the comments indicated the person was a student or a parent or an employee, so they offered that up in their comments. So it seemed like it was a good cross-section from throughout the county.
And the last, oh, go right ahead.
Cole, did you fill out the survey?
I did.
Right.
Good.
I think I recognized your comment. It sounded like you.
And the last time that we performed the survey when we did the CIP, it came in extremely handy with the community insight. And you will see these items that Ms. Briggs just covered, those first 5, you will see it again in the division priorities. So just listed all the division priorities. Now these division priorities are not listed in order. just like we did last time, of taking everything. We're going to put it on a sheet after we go through it and screen it a little bit more, and we will give those to the board, to the school board, so that the school board has an opportunity to sit back, relax, digest all of it, and then rank them. At this time, they're not in order. So just to go over a couple of, go right ahead, sir.
So that I understand what I'm looking at here, when you say lifespan, let's just use the first one, parking lot repairs, 100K, 5 years. Does that tell me that if you fixed them today, it's good for 5 years?
You're supposed to go over them and ensure that you, what's the terminology? Make sure you reseal the parking lots about every 5 to 7 years. That's what you're supposed to do. A lot of our schools, we do that maybe every 12 to 15 years.
So for any one of these, roof replacement, you're saying that's a 30-year roof if I
Roof
fixed it
replacement
today?
is a 30-year fix just because the average school is going to be 30 years old before you do a renovation and before you perform anything of that nature. So it's 30 years.
And I don't want to get ahead of you. I'll just let you finish.
Oh, no, those are great questions.
For like the Smithfield roof replacements, 30 years, it's already been on there for some period of time. So when's it due?
It is due.
I don't need an answer right now, but that's, I think that's going to be a part of the conversation.
Right. And that's something that you've seen in the community survey. Someone or several individuals listed West Side's roof. West Side roof is beyond due.
Right.
But you're going to find things of that nature that, you know, as a school system, we have to prioritize. Yes, it is coming up, but which one is?
But I guess my point is, like, some of these things that are already in place, it's not something new. It's
no, sir.
An upgrade or repair, something that's going to wear out. So as the board moves forward with trying to figure out what goes on the SIP,
yes, sir.
I think the life expectancy and how much of that life expectancy remains is going to be a part of the.
Yes, sir. And that can be that can definitely be updated to reflect the exact information that you're stating. But these are overall all of the requests for infrastructure this upcoming year. So you have time to look through that.
So some of these were proposed last year or the year before. Like parking lots has come up a couple times.
Parking lots will come up every single year. Every single year, parking lots will come up. Lights on the baseball field, softball field will come up. The disaster recovery generator will always come up. So some of the things of that nature will come up.
Are there items on here? I know you've got a list, I forget what you call that list, that already identifies how long something's supposed to last. I know
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Collex mentioned it a time or two.
Absolutely. There are a couple of items on here for that. Let me see.
For example, in 10 years from now, is there something that you know already that we need to replace?
Yes, sir.
For example, the solar panels on Windsor Elementary.
Right.
I don't know how many years those are good for, but that's something we need to plan for.
Right. We do have an asset control list for
we
that.
actually, Dr. Coleman and I had that conversation about a
Yes.
week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and that's something that he's going to be working on
Yes.
across the board
So
for
we
all
do
the
have that.
high-priced items.
Yeah. I think that's
Life cycle.
Yeah,
life cycle.
isn't that a
Yeah.
part of ABM's
It is. The
contract?
asset. It is. It is a part of our strategic plan also. So yes, we have that information available also. Really, through that information is how we focus on the boilers, the chillers, and knowing what time and what dates we need to replace those items. But it does cover every item in Wight County. All right. And lastly, this is the school board requested additions. There were several conversations concerning technology items, and can we actually put those on the CIP also? And the idea was played around with. What I wanted to do is present you with the information, and if it can be added to the CIP, that's great. If not, then we will go back to the normal request. But that is the information that was requested.
Some of the discussions, and I'm sure it involved all of us up here at some point or the other, but like the Promethean boards, rather than arguing and fighting for them on the budget every year, put it as capital because we know it's a reoccurring cost.
Absolutely.
I think that was the idea of the technology stuff.
Right.
and get back to your earlier comment, I think I made a comment, or somebody made a comment, that if we've got 70 Promethean boards we need, and they're good to last about 7 years apiece, we buy 10 each year, and just consistently.
Right.
And we'll do that
That is
with
correct.
pretty much everything.
Absolutely.
I think maybe we should have started off with this, but I think I've no doubt there's people watching right now, and I think it's important to kind of explain how we got here tonight, and help me talk through this, gentlemen, if you would. The Board of Supervisors is actively working to update their county comprehensive plan. And as I understand it, they're also working diligently to update the county's CIP. We are a big part of that. Historically, the schools have done a CIP November-ish,
Yeah, October,
if I
November.
recall. So obviously, we're not there yet. We're early, and we're doing this now upon the request of members of the Board of Supervisors.
That is correct.
And really, it all kind of ties hand in hand with what we're getting from Tischler Weiss.
Yes.
We're planning school capacities. We're trying to figure out when we need to build new schools. What's the status of our schools? Are they full? How much room do we have in them? And what are our capital needs? In the hope from at least a couple of the members of the supervisors is that we present this. When I say we, what I really mean is you folks present this to the Board of Supervisors on the 21st. I don't, it'll be preliminary, and we're going to talk about this. I know Mr. Collick wants to get in on this one. It'll be something preliminary. It certainly won't be a final product from the school board. I'm pretty sure the Board of Supervisors understands that. But in the words of Supervisor Roundtree, the SIP is a wish list. It's a plan, and things are going to change. Dr. Kramer and I had a talk earlier today about what was the example we talked about was the band room in Smithfield High School. That wasn't this board's #1 priority, but it ended up getting approved because the county was able to fund it with different lines of funding. So I think the spirit and intent of this CIP is for this board to present a plan or a wish list of sorts to the county so that they can include it in theirs and start looking towards the future. I think we've all learned painfully so that historically we've been reactive. I think today we should all be very proud that we're being proactive. Carrollton HVAC is a huge accomplishment. We've got movement on the garage facility. I could go on and on. I know you're going to talk about this later, but I guess my question tonight, and I just have a discussion with you gentlemen, is how do we move forward tonight in preparation for August 21st? And before you answer that, I can tell you that County Administrator, upon direction of Supervisor Roundtree, is already scheduling not just other departments in the county to present their CIP, but at least a preliminary from us. And for that, I just open it up to you guys.
I think, coming out tonight and saying, in 2 weeks we want, a preliminary wish list is really not the right way to go. Good thing is we talk about this each year. We know we know a lot of what we need. But I think we need to be more deliberate to make sure that we've got things that we absolutely know we've got to have, that we need. I don't want to give a big list, of 30 things. They can fund 5, and they fund our bottom 5. Okay, so I would be very hesitant to go over there on the 21st and say these are our needs right now. I think we need to deliberate on this a little bit more. I don't know how much deliberation Dr. Kramer and the staff has had over this, but as a board, we definitely need to look at it and talk with the staff, talk with Dr. Kramer to figure out what we need, what our biggest priorities are going to be in a prioritized list that's defendable.
Well, I agree with Mr. Colick. I don't believe we should rush this. We definitely need to sit down as a whole, the staff, all of the school board members, and, you know, be on the same sheet of music. Saying that we have to do this by the 21st of this month, 2 weeks from now, that doesn't give us enough time. I know the Board of Supervisors has put that target out there. It's just, I don't think we're gonna hit it. And I do not want to give them something, like Mr. Colick said. We give them 20 or 30 different items, and they pick our bottom 5. That's not the way to do it. We need to take our time, do it right, be able to justify anything we're saying, and go from there. If it's going to take longer, which I know it will, we need to request more time. That's the bottom line.
Dr. Kramer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I concur with you, gentlemen. I think we certainly need to find time to have a conversation with you, our board. We will take our directions from you all. I think we have a nice process that we have followed in the past, albeit a different timeline later, and I do appreciate the fact that we're getting started earlier. But I think you have given us those priorities, and I think in fairness to the supervisors, for the most part, they have funded those, at least in the past few years. 2 weeks is going to be certainly a tight timeline, and this is our first draft that we're sharing this evening and taking directions from you all. But I absolutely would like to have you, the board, determine what those priorities are in conjunction with our staff regarding what we deem to be the needs of the division. I do agree that 2 weeks will be tight. I am in conversation with County Administrator Robertson regarding a joint meeting and what that might look like, but absolutely in agreement with you all. We're going to take our directions from you, the board, in terms of when, where, and what that final product looks like.
Would the group up here be willing to entertain any sort of update on the 21st? Because I believe we're already going to be there for Tischler Bice. Is there anything that we can provide them as an update? Where we're at and what's our plan, perhaps?
I think we just let them know what we just said.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We're working on it. You know, we need some time. You know, I'm going to be gone next week. You're going to be gone next week. You know, other people have vacation plans and a lot of business to do. So I think we go in, we let them know that, you know, we're working on it. We have a lot of the data we need, but we still need to digest it and prioritize it.
Okay. I don't argue with any of that. I welcome the discussion and the work moving forward. You said something earlier, Mr. Colick, about taking our, we already had a capital list from this year that was prioritized. I'm not sure that all the remaining items are captured. Perhaps they are.
No, all of those remaining items are not captured. They were a little bit lower on the, I guess you could say, on the school board selection. So all of those items were not captured. What you see in front of you is some of those items that were, some of those items was on the list, but definitely not all of the remainder of those items. Right. And last year, if I'm not mistaken, or the year before, we did not perform the community survey once again. And this year, we definitely are about to put all of the community survey with the information that we have. So it's a little different this year than it has been for the last 2 years. But some of the items are, but no, sir, not all of the items. No, sir.
Okay. So we got work to do. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. We do, Mr. Chair. Perhaps, you know, we can share what we have done, you know, thinking about whether it's 21st or whatever that date might be. I do have some ideas in mind and have had some conversations with our staff about what that 21st would look like. But again, at the end of the day, you all will determine what that joint meeting looks like. So we'll take our directions from you, and I'll share some of my thoughts regarding what that could look like when we get a chance to meet.
So if are there any specific action items we can make tonight? I think one is reviewing our leftover FY 26 and 25 capital budget list. I think we need to scrub those.
Yeah, I think we should pull all them in with everything from the survey, everything that we've got here, and go through them and reprioritize.
What else?
I think they're the big things.
So it seems like this is a pretty good start.
It is. It's a very good start. Very good start. There's nothing on there I could disagree with. We just don't have a checkbook to write for everything there.
Well, that's right. And in fairness to Ms. Perkins and Mr. Wooster, I want to make sure it's a full discussion. Everybody gets a good vote and gets to talk through it here. And we'll make sure Mr. Cunningham gets a chunk before he's done.
Yeah, I figured that. Thank you.
So the leftovers, if we can run it, what's that list called? The life cycle?
Yes, sir.
The life cycle list. If we could scrub that?
Well,
we could scrub that.
That still has to be developed, doesn't it?
No, sir. I already have that list.
Good to go.
That is a maybe 500, 600 item list.
Right.
If we can just narrow it down to large items over 150,000 in the division, that can help me get to maybe 15 to 20 items instead of 500 items.
Perfect.
Okay.
And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think per state code, the CIP is 5 years, but the supervisors, or at least Roundtree, is indicating she wants to look 10 years out.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why I support that notion. So if you're not planning, we're going to end up in the same conundrum we've been in the last 2 years. So 10 years is a long way out, and a lot of things can change over just the course of a year. But at least if we look 10 years out and say, you know what, in 8, 9, 10 years, we're going to have to re-roof,
right,
whatever. If it's documented, when we're gone, the other board can pick up that list and go, well, these guys said 3 years ago that we were going to have to do this, and they can give them a benchmark, if nothing else.
If we've already got, a lot of legwork done with the life cycle chart.
Yes, sir.
It won't take much extra time to do that.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think you gentlemen stated, I think the life cycle list, looking at what's within that 10-year time frame, if it's something 15 or 20, perhaps that's not applicable to this given the timeline you presented. But I think you're spot on, Mr. Collick. I think that's going to be very helpful as we develop this list, whether it's within 5 years, whether it's within 10 years.
Right.
So I think conceptually we know what we need to do. It's just finding the time, as Mr. Collick and Mr. Cunningham stated, to do that.
Yep. So on that note, if you'd reach out to Mr. Robertson, and I'll give Supervisor Roundtree a call next week when I'm flying down the interstate, and she'll be a little disappointed, but that's okay. We want to, as the lady said on the phone this morning, it's better to do it accurately instead of rushed.
Absolutely. We'll figure it out.
Let's do it right.
And I will certainly, per your request, reach out to Mr. Robertson.
Okay. Good?
Yep. Yeah.
What you got, Cole?
One thing, Mr. Marsh, I do have an idea from a staff member at Windsor High School about laptops. I like to talk with the board when I get some ideas and details together. That will be soon, very soon, within the next week or two. That's fine with you guys.
You bet.
All right, sounds good.
All right, I guess that look is for me to continue, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right,
What's next?
very good. Thank you, Mrs. Briggs and Dr. Coleman. We obviously have work to do. Cole, welcome, Mr. Cole Munford. So before we jump into that, I think we are, go back a few slides, Mr. There we go. Actually, there we go. Let's stop there for a second. So I want to welcome our new student liaison. You are already hitting the ground running, doing a great job, contributing. We appreciate you. And as I stated to you earlier, first time I've had a chance to meet you, heard great things about you, and you are already living up to those high standards. So welcome and thank you already.
Thank you, Dr. Kramer. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
So good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and the Isla Wight community. I hope that everyone is enjoying a safe and restful summer. Actually, can you still go back one? You are, there we go. Let's stop there for a second. So want to make sure that everyone is having a great summer, enjoying the summer, having a restful summer. The superintendent's update is going to be a little less extensive than normal, given that it is summer. Nonetheless, we do have some information to share, and I want to thank Mr. Elliott, who is providing all these great visuals for us. So let's go ahead and get started with that, Mr. Elliott. And starting with the Summer Scholars Academy, students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade recently attended the Wight County Summer Scholars Academy. And this was actually funded by the United Way. Am I correct, Ms. Getz? All right, I'm correct. Very good. All right. Titled A Summer of Scientific Wonders, and students participated in daily reading, math, and science instruction with a focus on hands-on learning. And again, thanks to the United Way, students were able to go on weekly field trips related to the science theme. At the end of the program, parents were invited to an end-of-program showcase where students were able to showcase their work and favorite science investigations. And I had a chance with our staff to visit some of the work that was going on, and we had several staff members obviously working there. The students were doing a fantastic job, and had a chance to be there the evening of the day the parents were there for a visit. So a wonderful opportunity for our students. And again, a shout out to the United Way for funding this initiative. So thank you, and thank you students and families for bringing your students to participate. Next, the Fleet Services Advanced Electrical Training. So you see our gentlemen here learning. The IWCS Fleet Services technicians have successfully completed the Advanced Electrical Training Program through Brighter Ideas. This year's program challenged technicians to diagnose complex peer-designed circuits requiring top-tier skill, patience, and precision. The result is that we will have smarter, faster, and more efficient problem solving that keeps our fleet rolling. I applaud our leaders in the fleet services area for their ongoing professional learning and growth. And again, kudos to those gentlemen for their professional learning, and that's really going to help keep our vehicles and our buses running and keeping them up to speed as to what needs to happen as they are repairing all of our vehicles in our fleet. So kudos to those gentlemen, Mr. Fike and Mr. Sullivan specifically. Next, I had a chance to, and the privilege, to meet with Delegate Watsman and other superintendents in Delegate Watsman's district to discuss relevant topics pertaining to our respective school divisions. He does this at least once or twice a year, and this gives us superintendents an opportunity to advocate for our districts with our state delegate. So again, thank you, Delegate Waxman, for that opportunity. I greatly appreciate it, and they're representatives from, I think that's Greensville and Southampton, along with myself and the delegate. Next, our IWCS Summer Leadership Symposium. All right, there's a lot going on here, so let me explain and unpack this. The Leadership Symposium brought schools and division leaders together. So we have principals, assistant principals, coordinators, directors, our deputy superintendents, et cetera. And you see the theme building stronger practice through data, feedback, and clarity, styled with a playful culinary theme. The event focused on the essential ingredients of strong instructional leadership. The FEED acronym, F-E-E-D, feedback, explicit instruction, engagement, and data-based decisions, guided 3 days of interactive sessions, collaboration, and professional growth. The event reflected our commitment to nourishing leadership practices and supporting continuous improvement across our schools. And I was there in and out on all of those days. So not only were we serious, and there was lots of learning taking place as you look up in the upper left corner, and some of the sessions where it's very serious, but there was a lot of enjoyment and team building going on as well. And I think you see top middle, I think that is the Smithfield Middle School team competing. Actually, who won, Mrs. Getz? West Side. They were the overall winners for that week, but we had lots of fun. In fact, they are bottom left. That is West Side, very nettily attired in their, I forget which costume they had that day, but I think each day they had on a different costume. So again, lots of fun, team building, lots of learning. So huge credit to Mrs. Getz and her staff, and to our professional development coordinator, Mrs. Natalie Street. Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I'm sure you have something to say there, sir.
What's the story with the hot dog hat?
Mrs. Getz, is that a part of the theme, right? Feeding. Yeah.
That's Johnson's bunch?
That is Mr. Johnson, yes.
Say
yes.
no more.
So, he was a fork, and his assistant, so he was a fork, one of his APs was a spoon, and the other was a knife. So lots of fun. Everyone had their own slight twist on things, but yes, we give West Side another prize for best costumes that week as well. Yes, that certainly, when you see Mr. Johnson, please let him know that they won best costume as well. A new category for us for next year, Mrs. Getz. The CEO does need to step up. So, yes, they were dressed up. We don't have pictures. Mr. Elliott, we're going to have to include those. That's right. The CEO did a pretty good job. I don't think yes. Dr. Coleman needs to do a better job. I don't think he represented very well, and superintendent's office didn't represent well, but overall, CEO did do a nice job. Mr. Elliott has some photos to confirm that, so we will share those. Next, as I wrap up here, as I said, we don't have as much as we normally have. We had a visit from the Russian School of Hampton Roads. They visited our agricultural land lab. I didn't know we had a Russian school in Hampton Roads, but we do. So students and parents from the Russian School of Hampton Roads recently visited our acclaimed agricultural land lab. And during their visit, which was, I think, was it just yesterday, Mrs. Getz? I think it was just yesterday. They explored various areas of the farm, interacted with crops and livestock, and got an inside look of how a farm truly runs. The visit offered a unique cross-cultural opportunity that inspired curiosity, leadership, and deeper understanding of agriculture. And this really speaks to what we have to offer. We get people coming in from across the state. And I venture to say even some other states. I think we've had people come in from North Carolina, but people come from near and far to visit our agricultural land lab. It truly is something that is unique in our state and even in our region. So that's a testament to what we have here in Isle of Wight. So thanks to those gentlemen and to our staff for engaging and entertaining guests as they come to see what we have to offer. So something for you to know there, Cole. I don't think you knew that, did you? Yeah. Have you visited the Agricultural Land Lab?
I have once.
You have once. Well, there you
yes,
go.
Yes, sir, once.
There we go. At least we've had you there. And as I conclude, a quick update on the return to work and to school dates. So Mrs. Whitlow is going to hold me to account here, making certain that we have some accurate dates as I share. So our new educator orientation for new staff members will begin on next week, Tuesday, August 12th. That is correct, right? And for our returning staff, we look forward to seeing all of you on Monday, August 18th. And our division-wide convocation will be held on Thursday, August 21st. And we've been discussing those dates, and I think we've gotten those dates out to you, board members. And to our awesome students, Cole helped me get this across to all of your colleagues across the division. The first day of school, young people, is scheduled for Tuesday, September 2nd. I know you're excited and you're ready to come back, right, Cole?
Mixed emotions, mixed emotions.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that. And with that, Mr. Chair, that concludes my superintendent's update. Again, I hope that everyone continues to enjoy a safe and restful and relaxing summer as we enjoy the last few weeks of summer. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doc. Party's over, Cole. All right, gentlemen, let's knock this out. 16.1, we've got action on closed session items.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I motion to approve the personnel report and addendum as presented, a copy of which can be obtained from the school board clerk.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Mr. Marsh?
Yes, motion passes. 16.2, 3. 2 and 3, Mr. Collins.
2 and 3 are exchange students, yes.
Should I combine 2 and 3?
I'd say so.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the enrollment of exchange students 2526-01 and 252602 for the entire 2025 through 2026 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Mr. Marsh?
Yes, motion passes. And that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 student matters for action.
Okay, I'll wrap those into one. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the recommendation of the superintendent in the student matter EA 2526-05, EA 2526-06, EA 2526-07, EA 2526-08, and EA 2526-09.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Mr. Marsh?
Yes, motion passes. Moving right along. 17.1, consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as attached and presented.
Second.
Gentlemen, if you'd allow me the opportunity to read the donation memo.
Please.
We've got 2 for this month. First Team Honda donated $300 for the faculty at Georgie D. Tyler Middle School. And Mr. Kent Matthews donated $50 for the faculty at Georgie D. Tyler Middle School. Thank you to our donors. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Colick?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Mr. Marsh?
Yes, motion passes. Oh, that takes us to 18.1. We've got 4 policies for our first read. I see Mrs. Briggs stepped out. Any questions or comments from the board?
Nope. Didn't see anything. I read through.
I do know that Mrs. Briggs has been digging through the policies, and she's just recently got the policy packet that we agreed to purchase from the School Board Members Alliance. Mrs. Getz, is there anything in particular you would like to draw our attention to?
No, there aren't major changes. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to try to answer those.
In addition to that, Mr. Chair, Mrs. Briggs and I had a discussion earlier as well. I don't think that there's anything that is significant in terms of changes, but given that this is a first read, certainly there's time for the board to share those thoughts, concerns with us either this evening or between now and the next board meeting, and we will certainly make sure that we make those adjustments.
Probably the most significant one, though, is KGD.
That's new.
That's based off new law.
It's correct. And so that's probably the most significant change.
I think this is all stemmed from parental notification. Bottom line, if a kid goes to school and ODs on drugs, you got to call mom and dad.
Yeah, and then you have to notify your school community.
Correct. The
Yep.
fact that that wasn't already a requirement is kind of mind-boggling to me.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen? Good. We're good? Okay. We'll move right along. We got 18.2. We have one for second read.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Look at that last month.
Yep, we gave that one a good look last month. Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. Pending any questions or concerns, I'd certainly entertain a motion.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move to approve policy JEC as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Colick?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Mr. Marsh?
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, gents, let's wrap her up. Board comments, what do we got?
Oh, no.
Whoop, what'd I miss? Oh, I did. Yep, regulations for information. I apologize. It's interesting, Mrs. Getz, I was reading through these, I think I remember conversation over the course of last year that certainly initiated these adjustments. Seems like the conversation happened over the year.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go. Just for satisfying my curiosity, what do you think of the power school? Power school in general. As a parent, I'm not a big fan of power school.
Oh.
It's so difficult.
You think it's kind of difficult to maneuver?
Yes. It's not the most user-friendly software I've ever been in.
Yeah, okay, I could see that, yeah. We've used it for a number of years. I don't know that there's one that's phenomenal, but it's the one that we've been using for a long time now.
All right. Anything, gentlemen? Nope. Okay. Dr. Kramer, anything you want to add on that?
I do not, Mr. Chair. I think I've stated it all. Hoping that everyone is enjoying their summer, and I stated the dates earlier. I'm looking forward to the return of new teachers, our staff, and our students shortly there at the Labor Day.
All right. You gentlemen, closing comments?
Not tonight. I'm good.
Last chance, Cole. You stuck it up for the full meeting. Okay. I don't have anything either. This meeting's adjourned.